Hi everyone, Lisa Gifford here, and I have in front of me the February 2025 Sew and Show box, and here it is, and I have it all ready in front of me, and we're going to open it up and see what the project is for this month. All right, so here we go. We are making our own. Oh, this one is all about spring cleaning, folks. So this one is where we're going to be making a fluffy duster. We're going to be making the paperless towels. We're going to be making a mop pad and I'm going to show you how to make different sizes of them. So you're going to have your little roadmap in here. Here is the template for your fluffy duster. And there's a lot of verbiage that's on here, so we'll go over all of that. And then I've got the template for the paperless towel on here, and this template actually makes a bonus project, and it is where I'm going to show you how you can make the reusable mop pad, wet or dry. All right, so other things that you're going to have in the kit, you're going to have a ½ yard of white terry cloth. You're going to have 2 pieces of flannel. And I believe it's 2/3 of a yard of 2 different pieces. So it's like a 1 1/3 yards total of that. A little piece of elastic, I think like a 12-inch piece. A ½ yard piece of high quality white flannel, and I believe this is 18 by 60. It's a big piece. It's a big piece here. And then you're also going to have the fluffy duster tool that we'll be using to make our fluffy duster. And then, of course, the written instructions are in here. So all the things that you need to make the projects. And you ready to see? I'm going to show you something else. So here's all the different colorways that's going to be in your box. So you're going to get you're going to get 2 pieces. And I'm just going to kind of hold all of these up so that you can see all the different colors, all the different fabrics. Just these really cool prints. Puppies, daisies, hearts, flowers, and flowers. So you're going to get 1 or 2 of these. Each one's going to be different, but you're going to get 2 pieces. And they're each 2/3 of a yard, 24 inches on there. All right, so let's start by looking at doing the fluffy duster. I'm going to show you the fluffy duster. I'm going to show you the mop head. And I'm going to show you the paperless towel. So here's our little fluffy duster. So we're all familiar with the different versions of the fluffy dusters that we use them and then we throw them away. Well, I'm going to show you how to make the fluffy duster so that you can use it over and over. Just throw it in the wash and use it again. And as you wash them, they become fluffier and fluffier. This one was just washed one time. Look how cute that is. And I believe this one was this fabric right here. So it just makes a really cute, when you cut it up, you really can't even tell what the print is that's on them. But it makes just a fun duster. So we're going to show you how to make those. And you can also make them with fleece. So if you have some fleece at home, you also can make it with the fleece. I think the flannel does a little bit better in picking up, but the fleece does also. So this is our fluffy duster. We're going to be making it. And that way you won't be making these and throwing them away. You'll be able to reuse them over and over. We're also going to be making the paperless towels. And I've been seeing these everywhere online. And I have been using paperless towels about 7 months now. So it's saving money. They're so easy to use. You use them, you throw them in the wash, use them again, throw them in the wash. And you can put them on a roll like I have on here. You can just have them nice and flat, or you can fold them and put them in like a little box. I'm going to also show you one more thing that I've added to mine at home so I can keep them all together. Make yourself a little drawstring bag. This one's made out of that netting. So like this is the washer netting, or you can get one of those zipper bags that like a lingerie bag, and just put them in here, close it up, and throw this whole thing in the washer. That way they stay all together. Here's another one. Super, super easy to make these, and I'll go over that in a little bit. But the paper towels are just so much fun, and you can have them as a single, like I've done here. They can be single pieces, or you can double them up, or you've got a print on both sides, make it a little thicker. You can also put them on a piece of terry, so it would give it a little bit thicker of a cloth that you work with, so like I have here. So this is the paperless towels, and again, just save your your paper towel rolls. And I got a couple of them here. Just save your paper towel tubes, and then you just roll them up, and we'll go over all that in a minute. And then the last thing, you're going to get two for with this same template. With the paperless towel template, we're also going to show you how to make mop pads. And these are super, super easy. So here I've got the flannel with the terry and using the elastic. If you needed to make it longer, just add just a little bit to it. Here's one here. Instead of having to make these, get these, and we just throw them away, we can easily now make them for our little Swiffer mops. And I've got a couple of mops I'm going to show you that I use them for. All right, so let's take a step back and let's get started on making some projects. So the first thing we're going to work on is we're going to do the fluffy duster. Oh, I'm also going to show you something at the end on how to save all of your scraps and make another couple projects with it. So you're getting all kinds of freebies with this one. All right, fluffy duster. Some of the tools that you're going to need to make these projects, all of them here. Some clips is going to be good. You're going to need some turning tools, like I'm using my knitting needle or this little tool right here for easy for turning and pushing out my corners. A marking tool or pencil. I'm just using an ink pen because we're going to sew right over it. Some clips, rotary cutter. If you do not have a serger, because I'm going to show you how to make these with a serger, you can also do a zigzag stitch on the edge, or you can get your overlock foot and do the overlock stitch on the edge, and I'll show you how we do those. Now that's going when we're getting to doing the paperless towels. So right now we're going to work on making our fluffy duster. Super, super easy. I'm going to grab one of my marking pins because I need a metallic marking pin right here, because this is kind of important. You'll notice on the fluffy duster there's a lot of verbiage that's on here. You got your grain line. That's going to be very important if you want your duster to be fluffy after you wash it. So we're going to be cutting all of these pieces to make this on the bias, and I actually have one that's all cut and sewed so you can see what it looks like. Somewhere over here. So this one's all cut and sewed, but it's not cut yet. I don't have my 1/2-inch cuts in it. So you'll be sewing together at the very end 8 layers. So it's 8 layers of the flannel, or if you decide to use the fleece, 8 layers. But it goes real quickly. But you're cutting everything on the grain line, except when you're doing the fleece one. You can just cut this bias because it's not going to fluff up as you wash it, even if you put it on the bias. So you can just cut this straight of grain. But all of these on the flannel, we're cutting these on the bias so that when they wash, they get fluffier. So you notice that grain line that's on your template. That is very important. So be sure to kind of mark that because you're going to follow that grain line. There's also, this is important, you're going to see there's outer stitches on here. So these are where you're going to be stitching to create on the very first piece you cut, which is your 6-inch piece, the full size. You're going to add these stitch lines on here, the outer stitch lines, because those are the start of making the pocket that your tool will fit into. That's this piece right here. So you're going to add those, and then you've got a 5, a 4, and a 3, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do all of our cuts with all of this. So let's get started on putting this together. Let me get some of this out of the way. Pull that back out of here because I want to show you how to put those together. All right, so to start off, you're going to need to cut a 1/2 yard of flannel. So you can use your white piece, which is already cut at a 1/2 yard, or you can use one of your pretty pieces because it's 2/3 of a yard on this one, so it's 24 inches. But we're just going to go ahead and go with our white, and it's a 1/2 yard cut. And so this one's very, very, very long. It's a 1/2 yard cut. So you are cutting out, you're cutting out 2 at a time. So you want to have your fabric folded, and it doesn't matter if it's the right side or the wrong side. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up because I've got a 1/2 yard cut, and you're going to fold this in half. So you're going to match it, so you're going to fold it lengthways, lengthways. So I'm going to get all this stuff out of our way, and we're folding this in half so we can get all of our cuts on this piece right here. Now when you're using this long white piece to cut your fluffy duster, you will probably have enough on here to be able to make 2 of the fluffy dusters. I'm just smoothing this out. So I've lined up my edges here on the cut edge. And then I've got my selvage over here, so it's on this edge. And smoothing this all out to do all of our cuts. Now once you have it cut or laid out to start cutting, you're going to take your template and you're going to place it on the fabric. So now we're looking at that grain line. This is where it's important. So it should line up perfectly when you have it at this angle. I want my grain line to be going with the grain of the fabric. So this is where my cuts are. So if this being cut at a 1/2 yard, folded in half, knowing that this is 9 inches, this should fit on here perfectly for doing your very first cut. So I'm following the grain line, and I have it right where I want it to be. So now we're going to cut all the way around. This is the very first cut, and you're going to need another ruler with you. So I've got my 4x16 with me because I'm going to follow this cut all the rest of the way up, because you're going to need that straight cut to cut the 5, 4, 3 all the way through. So we're cutting 2 because it's folded. So you're cutting a 45 basically. Getting all that cut separated. And now we can go ahead and get our rest of our cuts done. Now, once you get these cut, you're going to have extra pieces. I want you to take these, don't throw them away, set them aside, because I'm going to show you another project that we can do at the end. So here's our very first one. This is our 6-inch cut. So before we go into the next, let's go ahead and we are going to mark our centers, and we're going to mark our stitch line. This is the outer stitch line that's on the template. So to mark your center, you got 2 ways. You can fold it in half. This is what I like to do. I'll keep them together, fold them in half. I think in the instructions I say just to draw a line, just to draw your little line. But I'm just going to go ahead and clip here, and I'm going to clip the center on the other side. It's not sewn across, so just make your little clips. I found it's easier than drawing my center line. And you don't even need to draw the full line, you just need to mark the edge, because you're going to line everything up on top of those. But that's your centers. But now we got to draw our 2 outer stitch lines. So looking at the template, I see this outer stitch line here and here. So I'm going to take this one right here, and I'm going to line it up on this edge of my piece right here. So I'm keeping the pieces together because we're only drawing it on one of the pieces, because we're going to stitch this in just a second. So I'm lining up this edge and this edge onto that stitch line. Once I have my mark, pencil, pen, just draw your line, because this will not be seen. You're going to be sewing right over that. Now we need to get the line on the other side. So then we do the same thing. Now we're taking this line and we're lining it up on the opposite edge. Here, looking at the outer stitch line, the little line that's kind of broken, that's our outer stitch line. And then you're going to draw that line. Now, if you didn't want to do it this way, I think you just measure 2 1/4. I think I have it on the instructions. If you just measure from the outside edge in to mark your line, you're going to draw your line at 2 1/4 inches this way and 2 1/4 this way, or from center, I believe it is 3/4 of an inch from center to here if you draw your center line. But just using the template just makes it so much quicker. So this is all we're going to be doing with this piece right now, because when we go to the sew machine, we're going to sew these 2 down all the way across. I'll back tack, and I'll sew all the way down and back tack on the end of each piece, or this whole piece. Don't need to draw it on the back. So I'm going to set this one aside till we get to where we're sewing. Now we're going to go ahead and start cutting our other pieces, which now is our 5, our 4, and our 3-inch pieces that's on the template. So this is where I like to go ahead and take my ruler, and I'm going to mark this, because if I was to set this now on the 5, it's not cut yet. So I'm going ahead and I'm taking my line that I just cut, laying a ruler up against it so I can go ahead and get that line the rest of the way cut. Now here's another piece of scrap. Set that aside. We're going to use that in a minute. So taking the template, which we had it this way, now we're flipping the template around. So here's my 5. That's why now you can see the 5, 4, and 3, they're not upside down. The 6 was here. Now we're flipping it around, and here's our 5-inch line right here. So I'm going to lay my template on that 5-inch line on the edge of the fabric that's still on that 45. And I am going to just get it centered on here, making sure I've got plenty of fabric going all the way around, and you'll still see I'm on my grain line. So we're going to go ahead and get this one cut. And here's my extra piece to save for later. Set that aside. So now here is my 4 or 5-inch. Need to find our centers on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half while they're together. And do like I did for the first piece, just kind of nip my top and my bottom. There's my 5-inch. Now we're going to cut our 4. So doing the same thing, going to go ahead and extend that cut line all the way to the edge. Another scrap, the stave. Now we're going to bring this to our 4-inch mark. Bring it further up because I have a bigger piece here. Again, I'm on the 4. So there's our 4. Before we set it aside, let's go ahead and get our centers. It's folding our 2 pieces together in half. Clip and clip. And then we have one more cut with the template. And that is our 3s. So let's go ahead and draw our line. Scraps to set aside to save. One more cut. Now we're going to turn our template, make sure we're on our 3. And I think that 3 is actually the center. And we're going to cut this one out. All right, little scrap, set that aside. And here's what we have extra. So we have enough where you can easily make one more, or you can use it for your paperless towel. So we're going to set that aside. So here's our 3-inch. So on the 3-inch, there's a couple other things that we do on this one. This one is where we draw our center line on here. And you only have to do it on one side. So the center line is actually 1.5 inches. So I just lay it on my board and I'm going 1.5 inches in, or you can go ahead and do your center, but this one here, I need that whole line because we're sewing on that line on one of them. So you only have to draw that line on one side, because when we go to separate all these pieces, that one's going to be the one that's on top. So I'm just going 1.5 inches in, lining up my template, and I'm going to draw my center line on the 3. And I only have to do it on one side, on one piece. So these are all of my pieces all lined up. And if you want, you can go ahead and mark your center if it just makes it easier. But you need that stitch line. Now I'm going to show you one more thing we got to add to that. So go ahead and get this marked. One more thing we have to do. On that 3, on that line that's in the center, I need for you to measure down 1 inch from the edge. Measure 1 inch from the edge and then draw a line. And then 1 inch from the edge and draw a cross line. This is our start and stop. We're not sewing all the way to the edge. We're going to start sewing here, back tack, sew all the way down, back tack. That's for the finishing of the pocket. So these are all of our pieces ready to go. So the first thing we're going to do is going back to our large 6-inch piece, we're going to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch it down on both sides, from top to bottom. So let's go ahead and get that started, to get this sewn. So I just have my machine set up and I've got black thread in here so that you can see everything that I'm doing. And we're just going to stitch from the top to the bottom. I'm going to be sure to back tack at the front in the beginning. And I'm stitching right on that line. And then stitch on the other side. So this is your piece, your 6-inch piece. So now you're going to take one of your 5s, take the top one, and you're lining it up, matching up the little notches or the lines that you've drawn. So when you have it laid down, the very first one, you should see a 1/2 inch on each side. Then you're going to grab the 4, and you're going to line up your center notches. Center line or center notches. You're lining that up. Again, you should see it 1 inch or a 1/2 inch from the 5. Now we're going to grab our 3. The one that has the lines on it's the one I'm going to put on top, lining up my center. Just like that. Now I'm going to grab a clip. I'm going to put a clip up on the tops and on the bottom. This is just holding them together because we're flipping it over now. Now we're going to take that same 5, 4, and 3 and put them on the other side. So lining up the 5. I can go ahead and take my clips back off. It was just holding it in place. My 3 shifted. Get it back into place. I got our 5. Now we're lining our 4. And this is where we're getting our 8 layers. And now our 3. Final layer. And reclip. This project goes so quickly. Flipping it back over so that we can see our stitch line. Now we're going to stitch from here to here. We're going to stitch in between these 2 marks that we had just made. And you are doing 8 layers. So I'm just bringing my needle to that mark. A couple stitches forward and back. Get to that mark and go back. And that is all the sewing to make this. So now we just got to do our trimming. So each one of these pieces needs to be cut. And you can cut with your pinking shears, or you can use regular shears if you want to be straight cuts or if you want to be pinking. So you're going to cut all of these layers. I found it was easier if I just cut a single layer at a time. So you're cutting without cutting into the center. So I'm thinking about a 1/2 inch apart. You're just grabbing it, pushing your pinking shears into that center and just clipping all the way down. And then folding over and then going to the next layer until you have all of it cut. All the way down, and you're going to cut all the pieces. So when I'm cutting all these, it's no rhyme or reason to it. Can be whatever size you want to be, but about a 1/2 inch, and you're going to cut those, and you're going to cut all of the pieces. That's what I have right here. This one completely all done. And let me open it up so I can find my stitch line. I think it's on this side. So here's the side. So you cut all the pieces. Now the reason why you did the start and the stop instead of going all the way to edge, because it makes a better pocket for you. So once you have it all cut and ready to go, I'm going to get all of this back into the right orientation so you can see. So it's exactly like that. All layers are cut. This is how it should look once you have it all done. Now you're going to kind of open it up, and you can put your tool in from either side. So to put your tool together, you're just going to take the two pieces. You're going to see this little groove right here, and there's going to, this little notch right here, and there's a little groove out right here. So you're going to line that up, and then just push it in, and you'll hear it kind of like snap into place. And then here's your piece right here. So then you're just looking for your very center. It's going to be like a little pocket here, and you're just going to slide the tool inside. And you got some little notches here. You got a little clip right here that kind of hold all the layers, but once you get it on there, you have it all done. So your fluffy duster is all completed. So that is the fluffy duster. So keeping all these aside, you're going to need them for a minute. We are going to start now with the paperless towels. Okay. Hope you all like that. That was a lot of fun. I forgot to add these to it. So that is all you need to do. And these make great projects too. You can make them, you can sell them. So the next project is going to be our Martelli paperless towels. So you're going to grab your fabric, and this is where I'm using the pretty fabric. We're going to make our pretty paperless towels with this one. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to need to iron it. Get it all nice and flat. I'm going to see if I can find a piece that doesn't have any wrinkles in it. But you do want to have it all smoothed out nice and flat. And then we're going to cut a 12-inch strip. Getting all these little pieces out of the way. We're going to cut a 12-inch strip off of this piece. So you should be able to get two 12-inch strips off of here. Now, I'm going to grab my template, because this one is pretty easy. You're just literally just folding your fabric in half again, lengthways. And if I keep it folded like this, I'll get two cut at a time. Now, if you'll notice on the template, I have it where I've got some little registration marks if you want to round out the corners. Now, I didn't put the round outed corners on here because not everybody might not have a serger. So you can still make these on a regular sewing machine, and this is where you're going to do a zigzag stitch, or you're going to do the overlock stitch. So I think I did all of these with my serger, but I'll show you the overlock stitch too. I know I've got one on here somewhere. I've got the overlock stitch on these. Some of them I've done them with the overlock stitch. But let's go and show cutting our fabric. So we're going to cut these into the rectangles, and then I'm going to walk you over to the serger. I'm going to show how easy it is to do those curves on the serger. Sergers are not real fond of curves, but it's not that hard to do with just a little bit of practice. You will clip off that curve as it's cutting and sewing and make these nice rounded corners, or you could go ahead and round out those corners also. So right now I've got my fabric just laid out in front of me, and I should be able to get two cuts out of a 12-inch by width of fabric piece. So I'm just laying my template on here, and we're just going to get these cut. Again, these are just paperless towels, and it's just so much fun. Like I said, I've been using them for like seven or 8 months now, and I thoroughly enjoy using them just when I'm done with them, I just throw them in my little bag, throw them in the washer, pull, and throw them in the dryer. They're just awesome. So now I've got 4 paperless towels all ready to go. So you can round off the corners or not. If you would like to keep your paper towels all straight edge, if you're serging, you're going to have all these tails you're going to have to tuck in. Whereas if you round off the corners, you've just got one, or you can use the machine. So let's go over to the serger, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to do the rounded corners on this. So I'm just going to grab one, and you can also have these doubled up and done on the serger. We're going to get this one sewed up. Now I like to go down one straight edge. I just like to start off, and then when I get to when I'm about 1 inch to 1.5 inches from the edge, then I curve it over. About 1 inch to 1.5 inches. I'll curve it right here. And you can even reduce or change the settings on here, but we're just going to keep it as it is right here. We're just going to go all the way down. I'm starting on the one end, and we're going to go all the way down. Now about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches before I get to the edge. So now I'm going to just kind of rotate it. Just kind of turn it and then continue on. And see, it just cut off this little bit right here. That's all I needed to do. And then rotate it again. Try not to pull it. To the end. Now I'm coming to the end where I started. And just run it right off. And here's where it went all the way around all of my corners. And just super easy to do by using the serger. So now let's go to the sew machine, and I'm going to show you using the overlock stitch or just using a regular zigzag for this. So I got my little overlock foot right here. Or you can just use a regular zigzag. And I like to bring my stitch in, I think, a little bit to 2. And we're just going to follow this edge along. So the edge is going to run right here on the edge, right this little bar that's on the overlock stitch foot, and just stitch it all the way down. I'm just going to do this one side right here. Then we're going to go to, so you can see the difference. So this is just where I do the overlock stitch that's on this machine. But I'm going to go ahead and take my foot off, and I'm going to put my regular foot back on, and we're going to go with a regular zigzag. So I'm going to widen out my zigzag a little bit. I think I'm going to put it at the 4, and then I'm going to bring it in a little bit to about the 100. And so now I'm just going to zigzag down the edge, and you could easily do that also. So you're going to find out where your stitch is going to fall. And then here it is, just a regular zigzag. And I kind of rolled it under a little bit. I wonder if I had it too wide. So if I bring it in to just the basic setting, a 3, and see if it makes a difference on that. Yeah. But it's your choice on how you want to finish them out. Again, this is just a great project, super simple to do, and they don't have to be single pieces. You can double them up, like I've done here. I have one on the back side. I've also taken where I've used in the terry and put it onto the one of the pieces, so it's like really nice and thick for whatever purpose that you might want to use them for. So that is showing you the paperless towels. Now, super, super easy. Again, make a bunch of them, have all different colors. Let me show you how easy it is. Once you have them rolled onto a tube, I mean, you literally just use them just like a paper towel. So they just roll right off. And when I'm using these at home, when I get ready to start to roll them up again, I'm going to just grab a few here and show you how easy it is to roll them up onto a tube. So I'm just pulling some of them off. My recommendation be when you get them out of the dryer, try to get them out real quick so they don't get all wrinkly on you, and they are going to shrink. So you can go ahead and pre-wash your fabric if you don't want them to shrink too much, but they do shrink. So here is an empty paper tube right here. So I just grab them and I flip it over so I can have the pretty side on the top, and I just roll it up and then go to the next one and just roll them on. Just takes a couple of minutes just to get them all rolled on, but you're saving not having to have paper towels that you're throwing away all the time. And again, I've been using these for about 7 months now, and I got Margot using them. They're just absolutely a lot of fun and so easy to grab and use these just in place of papers. Now, I can't say that I completely gotten rid of paper towels. I have puppies, but that was one of the main reasons why I started using the paperless towels. They are just so nice to just grab and use, and then you can use them over and over and over. And I feel like I'm just saving a little bit of money, saving the planet maybe a little bit. And then once you get them on there, they're good to go. Pull them off as you need them. Just a super, super easy project. All right, so that is the Martelli paperless towels. So I did show you where you've got 2 projects that you can make with this one. So now I'm going to show you how to do the mop head, the mop pad that you're going to be making. And again, this is like the Swiffer mop pad or whatever mop pad. I'm going to show you. I got the Swiffer up here, but this one I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and it's just perfect. So just using the elastic, it has these little things in here where you could throw these disposable ones and just kind of stick them in there. But I'm just using a little piece of elastic just to hold it in here, and then you can push it in if you need to. But super, super easy if you're going to have it wet or if you're going to have it dry. You can do all different layers of this. That one there is just a simple one layer of the terry and one layer of the print of the flannel. This one here I had made where I've got 2 layers of the terry cloth in here. You can have it where it's all terry cloth and not have the flannel on it at all. You can also have it by different, whatever size that you need. So taking a look as for sizes, now these are not going to be cut on the fold as you're doing the paperless towels. You're cutting these as single pieces. For this one here that I got from this simple little mop head that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, this is the size that you're going to be actually cutting it. You're going to cut one for your terry, one for your fabric, and then you're going to cut your elastic. But this one here is a little bit longer. So knowing that I'm looking at it to be a little bit longer, I'm just going to add maybe a couple of inches to it, to the edge, so when I go to cut this. Here's another one that's super long. So It's not quite long enough if I was to place it on the fold. It's still not going to be big enough, so I would just lay this on here and then cut and add, it looks like another 6 to 8 inches to it so that you'd be able to cut that one. And then here's the little disposable one that fits real well. So let's show you how easy it is to make these. So again, I'm going to grab my flannel and I'm going to go ahead and grab my piece of terry that I have with this one. And I am going to grab a piece that we've cut. I like to go ahead and have my materials already placed right sides together on this one, because we're going to stitch it and then we're going to leave an opening and turn it out. So let's go ahead and get our cut. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you still got to get your elastic on here. So I'm just laying my template on here. And we're just going to cut out the two. A little bit thicker fabric here. And then one more cut. All right, so now we got to get our elastic. I think I talk about when you're doing the elastic, you're going to be cutting like a 5-inch piece, but I found that I needed to do 4-inch pieces if I'm doing something really thin like this one here for just dusting. So I need 2 pieces that are 4 inches on this. So I'm going to cut my 4-inch piece, and this is 3/4 inch elastic. So I'm getting my 2 4-inch pieces cut off. And then on this piece right here, you're going to measure in 2 inches on the long side. So I'm taking this piece right here that I had just placed, and I'm going to go ahead and lay this on my mat, and I need to come in 2 inches. I'm going to mark it 2 inches in on both sides. So I'm going to mark it, I'm going to put a clip here. And then 2 inches on the other side, mark it. And I'm putting my elastic on the outside of that 2-inch mark. And then I'm going to clip that one. So going to the other side, same thing, I'm going 2 inches in, I'm just marking it. And then I'm going to go 2 inches in, I'm going to mark this spot. I'm going to go ahead and sew this first. We're going to baste this down before we go to put all of it together. So let's go to the sewing machine and get this basted. Just along the edge, because we're going to be sewing a 1/4 inch all the way around. So I'm just holding this down instead of just using your clips to hold it, because you're going to have a little bit of pulling on it. So stitch this side down. Now we're going to go ahead and grab this and we're going to pull it to the other side. And we're going to do it to the other one, and we're going to stitch this down. Oh, we don't need to. Now we're going to go ahead and stitch this down to secure it, just to hold it in place. And one more here. All right, now we're going to go ahead and put this with our piece of terry fabric right here. So we're going to line up our edges. Now we'll be able to line up one edge, and then we'll have to do the other edge. So then we have to leave a side opening for turning. And I like to using it on the short end for turning. So I'm going to mark about a 2-inch spot for turning on one end. So we're going to stitch all the way down. We're going to stitch across, down, all the way around. But you'll have to reposition once you get down to one side to move this over to the other. All right, so let's start on the side that we're going to leave open. We're going to stitch here to the corner, and then we're going to rotate and go all the way around. So let's get this all stitched down. Super, super easy. And again, if you add a couple more layers to it, it'll be nice and thick for dry dusting or wet mopping. I'm going to set this on my 1/4 inch, and we're going to do a 1/4 inch all the way around. Oops, that's not my 1/4 inch. Here we go. When I get to where I'm 1/4 inch away, and then I'm going to pivot. And I'm going to now line up my edge. And sew all the way down. Line up this edge. Just working on the edge. Now when we get to the other side, we're just going to kind of just let it pull up a little bit so you can get this to lay flat. And just stitching it down. And getting to our last little bit so we can leave our opening. All right, so that's all we got there. We're going to go ahead and clip our corners just a little bit. Make it a little bit easier for those edges. Again, this is just a mop, a mop pad, so not looking for it to have to be perfect and everything. So once you have that done, now you're going to go ahead and flip it out. Just going to reach in there and flip it out. This is where you're going to have your turning tool to kind of push everything out. And then the last thing you do is you're just going to stitch that little opening close. And it's easy, easy peasy. All right. I'm going to push my opening out just a little bit, being careful not to push it through because it's a little more airier when you're using the terry. Your needle can go right through that one. And I'm not top stitching all the way around. I'm just going to stitch that opening close on my machine because this is, it can be reversible. So if you wanted to just flip the mop head to be like a dusting or creating a little bit of a shine, you can dust on the top side. That way, if you top stitch, it's not going to be as easily to be reversible. So that's it right here. So I'm just going to kind of tuck this in, and we're just going to stitch that little opening closed. And now once you have that done, this will work on your mop pad. So I'm going to take this one off and we'll put the new one on. And then I've made them for the Swiffer. I've made them for this one here. This one's needed to be a little bit bigger, but look how cool that is. Easy, easy to make your own mop pads that are reversible if you want to be, just for something duster. Instead of always making something to throw away, you can throw these in the wash. And these are designed, like if you're using like the Swiffer that has the little mop, the little sprayers. The 5-inch for the elastic worked really good for this one because this is a little bit thicker. And when you're putting the mop pad onto this one, like where I've got this longer one here, the elastic is inside of the sprayer, so it's not going to be in the way of the sprayer when you're using it for the swiffer. So again, you can make these whatever size. You just got a great template that has the right width for just about all of them that I have found out there. All right, so that is making all the main projects that's in your box. Now, I'm going to show you now a couple of ideas to use with your scraps. Y'all ready for some scrappy projects? All right, so grabbing your scraps, and you're going to have scraps whether you're working with the flannels or even with the terry. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas. So we all see these cute little jars that we have. So these are 100% cotton. The projects that the fabric that we're working with is cotton, 100% cotton. So it's perfect for, you know, making the cutest little makeup removers or facial cleaners. So that's what I saved all those little pieces, grabbed my little 3-inch template and just laid it on here and just started cutting out all of these 3-inch circles. And they're absolutely adorable. Again, these were all done where you can round them on the serger, just going around slowly, or you can zigzag them, but save your little pieces and make cute little makeup remover pads or whatever you would use, these little pads that you would have in your bathroom, and get the cutest little containers to put them in. Just drop them in here. Now these I picked up at Aldi's. This one I picked up at the Dollar Tree. Here's another one just cute little projects. Now Brooklyn was here and she absolutely loves these. And they're just super, super easy to make. And you're saving all those little scraps and just cutting them into little bitty circles. Here's one where I've got flannel on one side and I've got the terry on the other. And then again, make you a cute little bag to throw them in, like I got right here, cute little bag. This was literally, this was a fat quarter, you know, an 18 by 22 inch piece. I just serged across the top and the bottom. I took a 4-inch strip. Okay, so it's 22 inches, right? So you're going to fold that. So this strip here was a 4-inch strip that was, I believe, 20 inches or 21 inches. And then I folded it in half and stitched it on. And it created this little pocket right here. So then I stitched the sides and across the bottom, added my little drawstring. So then when you're done using whether you're using the makeup pads or you're done using your little paperless towel, throw them in here and they're all in a nice safe spot so you can throw these in the washer. How easy is that? All right, so there was one more project that we didn't talk about, but this is the extra. So again, take the time and make your cute little cosmetic makeup removers. The teenagers in your life will absolutely love these because they're cotton, they're good for the skin. All right, so that's using up all of the little scraps. Now I want to show you the last project that we have is not in your box, but those of you who are subscribers to the subscription box can also get our hand duster. So this is like our oven mitt, but it's smaller, it's not as long, and it makes the cutest little hand duster. You can make these out of flannel, you can make them out of the terry, but they're just adorable, easy to make. I literally put the terry on here. I just serge the bottom or zigzag the bottom. I am not hemming it up, and it's just a single stitch all the way around. Super, super easy to make these, and they're just cute and easy to do any dusting or cleaning that you might want to use these for. Again, just throw in the wash, and they're good to reuse. So this is the hand duster. And if you get the hand duster, I think for the next month in this kit, not only do you get the hand duster template, but you're also going to get 1 yard of this is a high quality flannel, Martelli high quality flannel. And it is 1 yard, 36 inches by, I think it's like 62 inches wide. So it's a big piece. So be sure to pick this up if you want to have the hand duster also, and the flannel. And I forgot to show you one more thing. how easy it is to make the cutest little facial cleaner with your little flannel and with your terry. And I was able to make these using the same template for the mop head or the paperless towel. You're basically just cutting out 3 pieces. You can put like a little batting in here. You can put a little bit of fleece in there, or you can use that to make it really, really puffy. I've used some really thick batting, like the poly batting. So fun projects. This was all about spring cleaning, saving the planet. I mean, really fun projects for you to do using some beautiful fleece and flannels that you run across, and super, super, super easy. So I hope you enjoyed all of these. I think that's everything that we talked about. Can you think of anything else that I'm missing? All right, so let's go over it again. Everything you get in this kit, you're going to get 2 of the flannel pieces. And they're each 2/3 of a yard, so you're going to get 2 of one of these prints. You're going to get a 1/2 yard of really nice terry fabric. If you really want to do something, grab some of your old towels that you're not going to use anymore. Cut those up, make some great projects with it. Then you're also going to get a really nice piece of flannel. This is 18 inches by 60 inches, a big piece of the white high quality flannel. And plus you're going to get the templates, you're going to get the elastic, everything you need to be able to make all kinds of these projects. So you can mix and match them. You can have the terry with the flannel. You can have all terry. Again, we're making the mop pads. We're making my favorite, which is the paperless towels. I absolutely love them. I can't say enough about them. And of course the amazing little fluffy duster. Let me grab it. The fluffy duster. It is absolutely adorable, and you're going to love making these. Get the kids involved to help them do all the cutting up all the little slits. I think of the whole project, that's what takes the longest, is cutting all the little slits. All right, so this was it. This was the February Sew and Show box. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to tell your friends about it. Be sure to like, comment, and share. That really helps us out. And just you wait for the next one that's coming out in March. It's a good one. So y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And bye-bye, everybody.